And we're on.
Sweet.
All right. Whilst we're starting, I'm gonna get a couple nice cubes.
A nice cubes.
And also, I know when we originally talked about doing this, we came up with the name of it, and we were kind of, shooting ideas. We had talked about it being Basil Hayden's for the first episode. And then I got to the store today. And I had an idea, and I said, I'm going to surprise Timmy.
Ooh, okay.
Because I was like, it's essentially us like, no weirdness involved here, but we're consummating our new podcast today.
Yes, we are.
And I thought, what better way to do that than to celebrate with the same bourbon that we had the first time together. Do you remember where that is, or where that was, or what it was?
I do not.
You don't?
Wait, hold on. Was it Buffalo? No.
No. Do you remember where we were?
At my apartment?
Nope. We were at an event.
I do not.
We were at the Journey concert.
Oh.
Do you remember what we were drinking at the Journey concert?
We had, was it Makers?
It was Makers.
Yeah.
So I thought, what better way than to celebrate us starting our podcast together than a nice fresh bottle of Makers. But part of our idea with this was, I know we have the mat, but they're little barrel coasters, so it's just kind of
nice.
cool.
I like that.
Part of the idea of this was we were going to do like a new bourbon each episode too, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of our idea. They have a French oaked
Oh,
Maker's
damn.
Mark. So it was like kind of a special edition batch. I saw it at the store today, and I said, you know what?
That's what we got to go with.
That's the one right there.
I like it.
Here we go. Oh, that's a great
That's
noise.
Nice.
Pour a nice, it's less than it looks. These ice cubes are huge. Or not.
Either way.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. And this will.
This will.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Well,
And
cheers to the pilot.
to the pilot. The Triple B.
Triple B. Bourbon
Belts, and Bangers.
Now, how did that name come to you?
I don't know. Honestly, I was just like, we were talking about it that one day and just hanging out. And I was thinking about it. And I don't know. I feel like names need to be somewhat catchy. And I was like, we're going to be like, we love bourbon.
Yeah,
We have a very large bond over bourbon and old fashions and other bourbon related cocktails.
Yeah.
And
I gotta say, the first sip is incredible.
goddamn, that's fucking good.
That
Holy
is
shit.
good.
Yep, there's gonna have to be another bottle of that purchased in my near future. Holy crap.
You stay in
That
stock,
was
please.
very smooth. Holy cow. And then obviously we had talked about wrestling podcast and also movies podcast.
Yeah.
And so I was like, bourbon. I was like, what's a good B word that has to do with wrestling? I was like, belt. That's obvious.
Yep.
And then I was like, my original thought was, and it still could be, it still could potentially change.
Yeah.
What was Blockbusters?
Yeah.
With your logo idea, that actually fits a little better.
Yeah.
That would actually fill it perfectly.
Yeah.
But I felt like Bangers, I felt like it kind of just like rang off the tongue more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even care, honestly. Like either would be great.
Yeah.
And I just like randomly kind of started looking up after you said the logo thing. I was like, oh, gee, that's such a good idea. And then I was like seeing if I can try to AI generate like a like the idea that you had with like the whiskey glass with a championship belt and a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I was doing it on my phone while I was at tennis earlier, and all I did was I just typed in the name of it, and then like just some keywords. And one of the things that popped up, I should have screenshotted it because it's actually kind of dope. But it was the logo itself. It was kind of like a circle logo, but it kind of looked like the faceplate of a championship belt.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it said across the center, which would have been like the nameplate, right?
Yeah,
was Bourbon Belts and Bangers.
Oh,
and then like above it on the side, like the rest of it for the most part had to do with bourbon. It was like they had like it looked like tall like long stemmed wine glasses with next to like a bourbon bottle, and I was like, well, if that was a whiskey glass, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
And then down below they had like it was kind of like this. It was like a barrel with like a tap, so it was like facing you like that. Yeah. How it is right there, and it was a cool design, and I was like, oh, that's actually cool. And it was blue and yellow, and the nameplate shape, it looked very similar to like something you would have seen from Blockbuster.
Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters.
Yeah, and I was like, that's actually kind of dope because that could be kind of a cool way for us to incorporate that into a logo too. It'd be like something Blockbuster-esque.
Yeah.
It's not.
God, do I miss those stores?
Yeah, I know, right? But it was. You remember it kind of like the Blockbuster logo, kind of like the shape of it was almost like an old paper movie ticket stuff.
Yeah.
How it's almost like a raffle ticket, almost. You know how they have like it's like a rectangle, but it has like the beveled. Inverted beveled edges, and then that kind of comes to a point.
Yeah,
that was what it was, and I was that's actually pretty dope. So I was like, I don't know, it's like that's part of what tonight was going to be, was to just kind of throw it out there and be like, which one do we like more, Bangers or Blockbusters?
Kind of like the Blockbusters.
I kind of like the Blockbusters too. Yeah. Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters, and then because the Blockbusters also still is like it's the primary focus of like big screen cinema, but we're gonna branch out and we're gonna talk about other things as well. We're gonna talk about movies and streaming, and video games from time to time, and music.
I mean that is the new Blockbuster, right?
Yeah, streaming is. Streaming, seriously.
So yeah, it fits.
I'm good with that. If you're good with that,
I am good with that.
All right, so
yeah,
it's official. You heard it here first. Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters.
I like it. It has a great flow.
It does. It does have a good flow. I like it.
And speaking of bourbon,
cheers to the goddamn name.
To the name.
Let's do this. I love it.
God
damn it!
It is so good.
Make sure that not.
Makers is great, but
I might actually.
This is great.
I wonder if that should still work fine if it's clipped over there. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, like I said, I sent you like the outline earlier, and I just thought tonight would just be a good time for us to just kind of bullshit about it, which is also a hidden B as a part of the bourbon is bullshitting, because that's what the first 20 minutes is essentially going to be, is just us drinking bourbon and bullshitting about anything, and then we'll eventually actually get into the bulk of it. But another B. the Octuple B Podcast.
So true.
But yeah, it was just kind of spitballing ideas and pilot episode. Just run it, get it down, get it recorded, do our first thing. I felt like that sounds itself. Yeah, see how this sounds for sure.
Maybe I'm interested, maybe you're not.
Yeah. Maybe play a little game. Just a tip, just for a second, just see how it feels. Ouch here on my hair.
I'm sure we'll be spewing out a few movie quotes here and there.
Movie quotes are going to be abundant.
We could almost make a game during Blockbusters where we try to keep a conversation going.
Oh,
little segment,
in either like quotes or even like movie titles.
Yes,
stuff like that. I've seen games like that before. That was another thing too. Is like it would be cool if like an episode we come together and like, because the wrestling is going to be more your expertise. I'm obviously like well versed but you're
I'm going to push your knowledge. I'm going to push your knowledge.
Yeah, and I'm totally down with that.
But you better keep up.
I'm trying to. The issue is
life. Life happens.
Yeah, I got a almost 7-month-old daughter. Working on. I've been doing tennis. I got work, daughter, dogs, wife, like everything. So
yeah,
it's no, it's just it's hard for they're on, all the episodes are on so late, 8 or 9 o'clock, like when they're starting.
Yeah,
I'm asleep typically. Like Lainey, we put Lainey down like right today's early. This is like she's not usually like going down before 6. She just didn't sleep very much today, so she's tired. But typically it's like between 6 and 7 is like when we're starting kind of her routine, and then it's like typically when, especially recently when she hasn't been sleeping very much, like she goes to sleep, we get our asses ready for bed, and we go get in bed. Like I don't know how many times in the last couple months, especially since it's been staying later, that we're in bed when it's still like the sun is straight shining still, and we're like in bed. Blackout curtains drawn. Like I've already taken an edible. Like we're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, the wrestling. It's harder. It's hard for me to actually watch the shows, but I read about most of it.
Yeah.
So like I'm keeping up in at least that sense of primarily WWE. I still do read certain things about AEW. But yeah, I figured that section is going to be more your expertise area, which would be good that could be entertaining of you coming with the knowledge, pushing my knowledge.
I think that's perfect.
It would be great in some areas where we just make a couple games, come up with some stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think because I watch regularly, and and you obviously get the gist of wrestling.
Yeah,
so
I understand it.
I can run you through a storyline, and you could be like, "Well, I think this is the direction that's going." Because of previous storylines. Because let's be real, WWE is just recycled storyline.
I feel like it's getting better though now that it's like a new era, it's the Paul Levesque era.
It's no longer under Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like from what I have seen, because I have watched, I've tried to. The nice thing about Peacock is they typically, like, you can watch at least Raw. I don't know about SmackDown, but at least Raw you can watch the next day or like later. Yeah. So I have like tried to go back and watch some of the stuff, but some of it feels fresh.
It does.
Now. It feels a lot more fresh.
I feel like every week has been a refresh. Like, you don't know what's going to happen on it anymore. It used to be, all right, after WrestleMania, you're going to get a surprise show, and then it's going to be a lot of filler between. But they put on a banger of a show in France for Backlash. Mm-hmm. Crowd was amazing for that show.
Yeah.
Now we got the King and Queen of the Ring, and it's the actual focal point, and I think it's just a new, fresh direction, almost, but bringing it back a little. So I'm excited. Hopefully, the end game for the King and Queen of the Ring goes back to like when Brock Lesnar won. It led to a title shot versus just being named King of the Ring. You know,
that it kind of just ends up being like a gimmick.
Yeah,
that they hold for a little while, right? Like that was kind of like back when. Like Booker T won it. Yeah, he was King Booker for how it felt like 17 years.
And I think he did it right, but then you go to 2021 with Xavier Woods winning, and it just became
a joke.
Almost, and it didn't lead.
Sideshow.
It led to a little run, but nothing of value.
Yeah, nothing of substance there.
So.
Because like back when like Stone Cold, like when Stone Cold became Stone Cold, he didn't like wear the robe with the crown after that or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was just like
it was the mantle, the kickstone, and got him to the title scene. So
yeah, so like I agree. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
With the format of this, I'm kind of changing gears here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm try to stay true to the triple B.
Yeah.
Before we fully jump into head first into wrestling, the belts portion. My idea was eventually, well, we could do it the next time we do this.
Mm-hmm.
Get like a clock, like a shot clock, almost like a countdown.
Yeah,
like a game clock almost.
I like
it. Has
it.
20 minutes on it.
Oh, I like that.
And then we actually have like we're on like a time frame. Have you ever watched PTI? Pardon the interruption, on ESPN.
No, I haven't.
So it's a.
Oh wait, no, yes, I have.
Talk. Yeah,
and they got a little.
They literally have like time frames. I don't know how long the time frames are. I haven't paid enough attention to it to actually like realize it. We watch in our office at work from time to time. But it's literally like they're on a topic for a certain amount of time, and then it's like ding, and then they like finish the thought, but then they like whatever it was, they're done. And they move on to the next thing. Yeah, and I was like, kind of like that idea because like obviously we both have shit going on in our lives, like, you know, and either way, one of us is going to be either here, like you're going to be driving up here, I'm going to be driving down there to you to do these. So I figured trying to stay like boom, 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 especially once we get it like.
When we got a good flow,
then it's like we have like, all right, coming up on the end of bourbon of our bullshitting time frame. Yeah. Let's start to transition into that, and then same thing. Yeah, that's kind of my idea with that.
I like it. I like that.
I have little score clocks.
Okay.
At work, so like I could easily like whenever we're gonna do this, just bring one, and it has a remote, so it's literally like we could set it up behind us, so it's like in camera view too, and then it's like. When it goes off, just reset it real quick, and then it's like, all right, we're into the next one.
I like that. Yeah, no, that's a perfect idea.
Eventually, the idea behind this is eventually we're gonna get like. The cool thing is like we're starting in my garage.
Yeah.
With literally just like my shitty make shop workbench behind us, in my man cave, if you will, and.
I don't think it gets any manlier than this.
That's true. That is true. Just power tools, abundance behind us. But yeah, and then
there's a little credit for the little labels of where things go. Just this much.
This is a little bit. Little touch. Wait, did you say whose credit?
I said you lose a little credit.
Oh, I lose a little credit.
Yeah.
Well, if it helps, I did those.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of credit back. I feel.
Yeah.
My wife didn't label them. You can tell by what looks like the 7-year-old's handwriting. That's me. That is definitely me. But yeah, she does take credit for our setup today.
I like it.
The nice black and plaid placemat.
Hey, I would have chose it too.
The man cave candle in the right in the camera view. That's what she lit. It was like it has to be there. I was like,
I like it.
So yeah, but no, I think it'd be kind of cool if like eventually we're able to like actually do something with this and like move it to like. Have like an actual like place where we normally run it.
I would love that.
Even if it's like still one of our houses, but we have like a room dedicated to it or like something like that.
Maybe like a shed or something.
We're gonna move. Like we're planning on putting the house on the market like this time next year.
Oh wow!
And potentially move not like down to you, but maybe closer potentially.
Okay.
Enumclaw-ish.
That's a nice
like
median
20 minutes, maybe from each other if that were the situation. So obviously we'll see how life goes between now and then, but that's kind of our idea. So yeah.
What made you want to do a podcast?
Dude, I'm good at talking.
Yeah. He really is.
Conversation is just kind of like I was a bartender for 7 years. I'm a teacher, so like I'm always up talking in front of people. Like public speaking has always been a pretty strong quality of mine, and like this isn't even public speaking. This is just you and me bullshitting in my garage right now. So it's like you and me every time we get together are like there's like a very small number of people that I would want to do this with.
Yeah, you're
number one. Nathan is number two.
Yeah.
Because me and Nathan would be able to do a podcast pretty well together, I think.
Oh, for sure.
and then my buddies at work. We've talked about doing just like it's a podcast about podcasts.
Gotcha.
like we do our own podcast where we talk about other shit that we've heard on other podcasts. I like the idea. But yeah, so like that's just kind of, and then we've talked about it so many times, just in passing. Yeah, I feel like just randomly we've talked about it over over years.
Yeah,
like it's come up, and then it was like, dude, let's just fucking do this. And then we actually started like spitballing ideas and like coming up, and that was like, okay, we have to actually do this.
Yeah,
and here we fucking are. What about you? What made you want to do it?
My original plan was to do just a strictly wrestling one, but there's just a lot to talk about it, and my circle of people, there's you, Nathan, but not a lot of people to talk about wrestling with, and so why not talk to a world of people through a podcast, and just but then our conversations just can take a left and then right, and we'll end up down who knows where. Yeah. But the conversation's always good. So
sometimes some of it might need to be edited out.
Yes,
because I am a teacher, and who knows where this is gonna go.
True.
So you can go off the rails quickly.
But
we'll always come right back on.
And then ultimately, our world is just podcasts everywhere, and want to get in on that.
Same, yeah, because I listen to them all the time.
Yeah,
and most of the ones we've texted about is like a lot of the ones I listen to are literally just like either literally brothers or just best friends that are just fucking hanging out and talking.
Yeah,
Now I know we have like kind of formulated ours around like an agenda of a sort, but a lot of it is that's why I wanted to make sure we had this at least the first 20 minutes where we are literally just bullshitting. Like we're just talking. We're gonna save the rest of it for the other parts that are needed for it. But that's
but ultimately at the end of the day we're just gonna be bullshitting anyway.
Bullshitting the whole way through.
Yeah.
Well, and then also another reason that I really wanted to do this and the movie part I think is a big portion of it for me is because how many times have you and me, specifically Marvel, have we like gone and seen a movie separately, and then like either during or immediately after we're texting each other, it's like, yo, have you seen this yet? No. Fucking go see it now because I need somebody to talk to, but we've always had to do it over fucking texting, just because of life, right? And now it's like if we have something dedicated to where like we have a platform to be able to just like put this specific amount of time towards. I don't know how often we want to do this or we're able to do this or whatever, but whatever that ends up being, we have that dedicated to us being able to do this shit together.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
And so, yeah, it's just, I think there's so much shit going on in like just the Marvel world, which is has been the primary focus of what we have discussed a lot about.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things too that are like we're getting right into summer, which is why I'm happy we're starting this now. It's because it's like we're getting right into summer.
Summer blockbusters,
baby.
Yeah.
And so, it's I don't know, man. It's felt like this was a good time to get it rolling.
Yeah. I think it also just because life does happen, but we need to still enjoy the things we do enjoy, and podcast kind of directs us in a way to, hey, we got to watch some wrestling. We got to go see some movies and to be able to talk about it. So
we're going to have every now and then we're going to have a little homework.
Yeah.
That we got to do. And it's a good kind of homework.
I think the best kind of homework.
Yeah, I'm down with that for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. We I had this idea. I don't know if we could actually get away with it because like copyright reasons. I actually don't know how this would work. But, podcast intros typically have music to them.
Correct.
Like some sort of intro or song or whatever. And I thought, how fitting if we, like each episode, we just did a different WWE entrance thing.
I like it. I think I don't know either.
I don't know if we can do that.
I feel like you could play a minimal of like 20 seconds and not get away with it. So possibly can.
Okay.
Maybe a Marvel theme song
or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I like it. I like that idea.
A movie theme or a wrestling theme or something. I just thought I was like that could be a good way to like get into it each time.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
So
that would be easy. That would be a fairly simple thing, I think, to be able to just like edit in afterward. I know with the putting it on Spotify would be simple because you can like fully clip and edit and like add songs straight off Spotify and everything. So
nice.
That way it's easy. If we do decide to do the YouTube upload for the video portion of it, we'd probably have to do like a video editor of some form and then add that in and then upload it. But that's stuff that we'll have our producer take care of.
Unnamed producer.
It's us right now. It's just us. But yeah.
No, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Or who knows? Just little excerpts from a movie theme song and mash it with some. I'm not that savvy though, so I'm spitting ideas that I can't produce. So but that's what this is. Mm-hmm. We just talk about things.
Damn right.
And then put it in. I mean, we talked about a podcast, and here we are. So, by golly, we can mash a song together.
Make things happen. That's for sure.
We'll make it happen. But can we talk about the Smakers again?
Yes.
Because holy hell,
I know. Holy crap! It's so good.
This
is going to be a staple in my house probably from now on.
Just taking it back to when you introduced this bottle, the Journey concert. That was amazing.
Yeah, dude, that was the best.
That was one of the funnest nights of my life.
It was great. Just the whole thing. The show, the parking lot concert we put on for people afterward.
Yeah,
in the car. It was great. Yes, that was amazing. And like Doobie Brothers, we fucking didn't even know who they were for the most part until like the last two songs they played. Like I knew them. I've heard of the Doobie Brothers. Haven't really listened to a lot of their music.
Do you remember the quote of the night?
We know this one, or something like that.
That and if they were good enough, they would be on Guitar Hero.
If they were that good, they'd be on Guitar Hero. That still pops up on my Facebook memories like once a year, on that day.
Yeah.
No, but that was a great night. It was awesome. And the fact that we just kind of lucked into those concerts too, because my dad and Brenda were going to go to that show.
Yeah.
My dad, my stepmom, and they, for whatever reason, I don't remember what it was, they couldn't go. And then did we pay for those tickets or did they just give them to us?
I think it was just gifted.
I think they just gave them to us. Yeah. And yeah, well, it was like, yo, because I think they like talked to me, and then I think I want to say I like originally asked Nathan, just brotherly, it's my brother. So I asked Nathan, and then it was like, all right, I'm fucking talking to Tim then.
Yeah.
And went straight to you. Yo, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm there.
Want to go see Journey and the Doobie Brothers at White River? Yeah? Hell yeah, let's do it. And then, yeah, that was the first night. I don't know if you'll believe this or not. That was the first night I drank whiskey straight.
Oh, wow.
I had never had it before, which is why it ended up being Makers, is because that's what you ordered.
Yeah.
And we were in that the little garden, garden, but it was for liquor. And I was just like, I don't fucking know what I'm going to get. I was like, there's no beer, because it was literally just liquor only in that place.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll just do the same thing he did. I was like, never actually drank this before, and I'm not one to drink, to take shots. So I was like, I don't know how well I'm going to like this, but sipping, completely different things. Sipping on good tasting bourbon as to shooting it.
Yes.
Way different. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, I actually enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I've never gone back. I've been drinking bourbon strong now for however many fucking years ago that was.
It's funny. You took my recommendation, and now I'm solely go off of your recommendations now, because your taste is definitely refined more than I've.
I've branched out a lot. I've tried a lot of things.
Some of the drinks you have made, whew, so good.
Well, and that's also because just from bartending, when I worked at the cottage, we got about 2 minutes left, just so you know, before we jump into belts. Trying to stay on task. When I worked at the cottage, I was put in charge of the weekly drink special.
Okay.
For the last probably year and a half that I worked there, and that was the coolest thing because it's an art form, really, in and of itself, that you then get to drink, which is cool. Which is why I like cooking so much too, and baking and stuff, is because it really is. It's an art form.
Yeah.
That has the best result because you get to consume it.
That's true.
And it's awesome. And so, and you get to give it to others and watch other people consume it and watch them enjoy it and see their reactions and their response and stuff. I've always enjoyed that. So that's part of what me making all the random old fashions, like the s'mores old fashioned, and I did like a maple bacon old fashioned, and a smoked pineapple old fashioned. I did
the smoked pineapple.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I did so many different ones, and I haven't done them in a while. My palate, I feel like I've just gotten to the point now where I'm just I pretty much drink Coors Light or straight bourbon. That's kind of just where I'm at. I still enjoy a good cocktail every now and then.
Yeah.
Primarily, it's just a straight old fashioned is what I'll go with. And just again with life, I haven't branched out very much. I don't drink very often anymore, so this will also be a nice way to not get back into drinking heavy. That's not what I want. That's definitely not what I want.
This podcast as a stepping stone into drinking.
Yeah, this podcast is a stepping stone into alcoholism. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ryan, and I'm awesome. Oh shit! Yeah, I guess I never started that. I'm Ryan.
I'm Tim.
We never said our names.
That's true.
We said each other's names, I think, but we never introduced ourselves. But yeah, so no, that's just the making cocktails and stuff has always just been fun for me. So I enjoy it. That might have to be a portion of this.
Well, yeah, why don't
is not just trying a new bourbon, but maybe making a new cocktail out of bourbon.
I was about to say maybe we should introduce a new cocktail here and there.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But of course, sticking to the bourbon.
Sticking to the bourbon, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely sticking to the bourbon. At the very minimum, sticking with whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
I'll jump in.
Let's do this.
Segment number 2.
We're going into the belts portion of this.
Fucking do it.
We kind of, talked about it a little bit earlier, but, it's been a interesting time for wrestling. There's competition to WWE with AEW.
Which is great
we
for
have
the world of wrestling.
New leadership in charge of WWE. And so we've got to see a lot of new directions.
You want a topper?
Yes, please. We've been able to see a lot of new directions in wrestling. It has been exciting. I think you can see it in the crowds at the shows. We watched WrestleMania together, and I think the crowd was pretty crazy.
It was awesome
for both nights. And it's just a really exciting time for wrestling.
In France, Backlash.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Backlash. Full disclosure. However, I have seen a lot of clips. I've seen videos of it. I've read articles specifically about the crowd. It was insane. U.S. got to do better. Crowds in U.S. got to do better because France was insane. Yeah, they blew the fucking roof off the place, literally. It was crazy.
I thought Puerto Rico did really well last year at Backlash.
Yeah, because Bad Bunny was there.
And I didn't think that crowd would get topped. And then France happened.
France blew the fucking, they set the bar so high.
Yeah.
Now for not just international crowds, but crowds in general
Just
at a live wrestling event.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Like we thought the pop at Wrestle Dream for when Edge came out, Adam Copeland. My bad. When Adam Copeland came out, we thought the pop for that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the entire night at Backlash was that.
It was that. Yes,
like,
all night long.
It was wild.
Yes. So very exciting time for wrestling. Excited to just see where this new year goes. As a full calendar year from WrestleMania to WrestleMania under the Paul Levesque era, and excited to see the new faces. They didn't change the rosters very much during this draft. There's a few pieces here and there, but the tag team titles got refreshed. They needed that sorely. They
just splitting them again.
Yes,
that they did at WrestleMania was huge.
Yes, so now each show has one, and I think that's just another different direction it's going. So a lot of unexpected things, and then we got this Uncle Howdy character potentially.
I was waiting for this. This I have for the most part kept up on. Like I said, I haven't done a good job of watching recently, but I have been reading a lot about the Uncle Howdy situation because I mean, if you're in any way, shape, or form a fan of wrestling over the last 10 years, Bray Wyatt was a gigantic part of not just the company but the profession, right? I mean, they in AEW, there were so many tributes and stuff to him with the Fireflies and all that stuff that people were they were actually not just the fans, the actual performers were doing things during AEW shows to as a tribute to Bray. So yeah, to know what they had going, especially after watching the documentary, which I'm assuming you finished.
I finished, and holy shit.
Jesus fuck.
What a roller coaster.
Oh yeah. It was so well done. And yeah, there are not many times I've cried at TV. Yeah. That was definitely one.
At wrestling of all things.
Of all things. Yeah.
Very few moments.
Yeah. There's only been, I think, 3 times I've cried from wrestling in general, and it was Eddie, Benoit, and Bray.
Yeah. I added Edge to that list. I'm a big Adam Copeland fan, and when he had to retire,
when he originally retired,
when he had to retire,
yeah, for sure, absolutely.
And almost wasn't crying, but just very emotional when he returned. And I had no clue he was coming back, and seeing him come out the Royal Rumble was is insane.
Was huge, yeah.
But to your point, Bray Wyatt is probably the first wrestler that has come up when I've watched wrestling, like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, and they were before our time and coming up. But Bray, we got to see from rookie to ultimately his demise, which hit really hard. And and in a dull moment in wrestling history, he was you were glued to your TV watching his storyline. So
everything he did, even the ones that weren't well done, like even the ones that were he didn't necessarily want to do, but he did it for the sake of everything. And you could tell. But I mean, the LA Knight, the fucking
the Mountain Dew glow in the dark,
the glow in the dark one. It was at WrestleMania last year, or 2 years ago. When was it?
The PLE right before WrestleMania. It was a Elimination Chamber or something like that.
Yeah, but that was obviously it was just a weird concept, and it also kind of felt out of place to a point, right? That match. It was LA Knight and him kind of had this weird thing, but it kind of felt rushed. So they had a little feud, but it also wasn't a long withstanding thing, and so it was just kind of weird. But still, it was just everything he did was just so charismatic and so engaging. He pulled the crowd in, like you said. It was just you're glued to it. Everything he did, every move he made, every word he said, it was just compelling, and he was just such a great character. So to see that potentially live on, especially under Triple H.
Yes.
I think is the biggest part about that. And it's realistically, it's the only reason it's happening.
Yeah.
Like if Vince was still a part of it, this wouldn't be happening.
And if it was, it would probably be something we'd be interested at first, and we'd
quickly we realize that they're dropping the ball on it real fast. But with Triple H in charge of it and like fully in charge of creative and all of that, they're doing this so well with the long drawn out, the dropping little QR codes like each episode of either Raw or SmackDown, and I feel like this last episode of Raw was the first time they acknowledged a QR code coming up on the screen. Yeah, and this last QR code message was the first one that actually had like substance to it. Yeah, because it has tomorrow at 4 p.m. It was right. It was tomorrow, right? May 16th. Yeah, at 5:16 at 4 p.m. Yeah, it was like the primary message in it. So that's the first one. The rest of them have just been like free them and like just like little random, what seem random at least, messages. And so, but yeah, just to see the whole thing, and like we know it's him. Yeah, we know it's Uncle Howdy because I mean, if it's not, people are gonna fucking revolt because like the way the Bray Wyatt documentary ended. Yeah. Are you like that's the only thing it can be. And let me tell you, that was a surprise. I know you said be prepared for the end. I thought it was just going through that emotional freaking roller coaster. No, dude, it was. End credits. They're MCU'd our ass. Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, they did. They're running it straight back with the character and the storyline and everything that was going on when he went away because he got sick. Yeah. And that's fucking awesome. It's awesome on so many different levels. It's awesome for the company because I think that again, like Bray Wyatt's character was so important to the WWE over the last decade. Yeah. And it's important for us as fans because Bray Wyatt was so important to us over the last decade. Absolutely. As fans. And then for fucking Bo, dude, for Bo Dallas. I loved him in NXT, Bo Leaf. I liked him in the B team, but for him to be able to carry on what was gonna happen soon. For him to continue that, not just continue that storyline that they were obviously leading towards and going to do, but now it's like an extra sense for him of like, you got to succeed here, which I think is good for him. Yeah, because he didn't have very many pushes. He was definitely low to maybe mid Carter for the entirety of the original run that he had in WWE, but now it's like you're being given this opportunity to do this thing that was already going to be so awesome and so impactful on the company and just the just wrestling as a whole. But now you're doing it tenfold. Yeah. Because of the meaning that it's carrying with it. Yeah. Now you're carrying your brother's legacy on your shoulders down the creative road, what he wanted. Yeah. And that's I mean, and what better way? It's fucking emotional. Like, what better way to carry on Bray's legacy than carry on this storyline, almost as if it was meant to be this way. Yeah, because the character of Uncle Howdy that Bray originally played and portrayed before they brought Bo in, I cannot for the life of me remember Bo Dallas's actual name. I can't. That's why I keep referring to him as Rotunda. But yeah, for him to be the one that originally portrayed that his brother then came in to start doing, so they could have them both together, and that be like the driving force of what brought Bray back. Yeah, because that was like
Yeah.
he was gone, and then he was like at first feeling like he could have just been chilling.
Yep.
And then quickly realized that like his career, his storyline, his character, everything, it's not done yet. And he felt like he needed to come back and do something big, and this is what he was working towards.
Yeah.
And so for his brother to be able to carry that on is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's so good, like I said, for us, for the company, for Triple H,
100%. Yeah.
for Bo and for Bray, right?
Yeah.
For Bray's family, for his wife, for his daughter,
For his kids.
daughters. Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's a cool way for them to tribute. We've never had that before.
No.
Like realistically, we've never had that where something like that gets like a storyline from somebody who has passed on got carried and continued.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
And if it would have happened, Eddie would have been the one.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was.
Yeah. I would say I would agree.
That would have had some storyline that they were involved in continue, and it didn't. It was literally like everything that happened when Eddie passed away ended.
Yeah.
And then they did the big tribute show to him, and then they moved on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not moved on. I don't mean that in like a disrespectful sense. But
the show must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I think I feel, and I could be wrong with this because obviously I'm not behind the scenes and I'm just an average fan, but it seems like a lot of that credit needs to go to Triple H because
I think it also probably hits hard to him because he was in charge of NXT, you know.
Exactly.
And Bray was coming up, so now these wrestlers mean something to him, and it's a great way because, to your point, just it's never been done before, right? Yeah. You know, it is the show must go on, and they don't get to really honor that legacy other than mention their name a few times, but this is get to carry on a full-on character world based off of this Bray Wyatt.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was like, hey, that's like the number one talking point for the belt segment that I've paid attention to.
Yeah,
because it's so impactful, and it means so much. But do you think? So I've read a lot about the Wyatt Six.
Mm-hmm.
Is Alexa Bliss coming back as Sister Abigail?
I don't know. I want her to because she was heavily invested into his character.
So close to Bray and Braun.
Yeah.
Right. Like it would be a really smart, I think, career move for her coming back from mother, like having a baby, being a first time mom, being away from TV for as long as she has.
Yeah.
And because it's been a while. Like longer than Becky was out.
Yeah,
Alexa Bliss has been out. I'm pretty sure. So for her to kind of extend the leave time, be gone as long as she has, and then if this was the way that she came back in, it would be so good. Again, for her, for the company, for the storyline, for all of it. I think that's one of the most compelling things that she's ever done. Was be a part of the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton feud. Like it was so cool, and it was so
instantly adds legitimacy to the Wyatt Six. If that's in fact what's and coming.
Then Eric Rowan. Like that's an obvious, like that's a no-brainer because both of the two original other members of the Wyatt family have unfortunately and untimely passed. Right. So for Eric Rowan to now come back, which hasn't been announced, I know, but it has.
Can you imagine just the emotion?
It has kind of been announced because it's been like I've read everywhere that it's like official. He has signed on.
Okay. I try to avoid the rumors.
Nothing from WWE has been officiated from it. I will say that, but everything I've read is that Eric Rowan has like been everywhere now that WWE has. Like he canceled other things now due to contractual obligations that weren't specified because he was doing like random shows and stuff. But now it's like if you're under a WWE contract, you obviously can't do anything else.
True.
So and they're like the only ones that have the non-compete clauses.
Gotcha.
Right, like AEW doesn't have non-compete clauses for the most part, or unless they have started.
No, I think they run right through their contract.
And so like just like stuff like that, where it was like it hasn't been official, but it's been like, what the fuck else is going on? With the situation of the storyline, like why else would he be kind of backing out of other obligations, like things that he had already committed to?
So who rounds out the group, do you think, or have you heard? Because I'm just along for the ride. I'm watching the clips. But like I said, I try to avoid the rumors.
I'm gonna be honest. There were a handful of names that I don't know.
All right, spit them out.
Fuck. I don't even know if I remember the name.
Joe Gacy, was that one?
I think Joe Gacy was one of them. Okay. There were one or two people from NXT that, for whatever reason, they were involved one way or another at some point or something, that they had some form of connection. Eric Rowan and
the way I see it,
like Braun could be involved because he just came back.
Yeah.
And then Alexa Bliss, obviously.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's three just right there. But Uncle Howdy, and then
because I feel like in a group, my ideal idea of a group is you have someone who can go for a championship. So Uncle Howdy be for the main title, your heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
You got a intercontinental champion. You got tag team champions. You got a women's champion. So maybe, you know.
Speaking of which, we are on time.
All right.
To switch over. If we want to finish any last thoughts we have,
I guess
before we jump forward.
Final question for you: when do you think this group, or just Uncle Howdy, debuts?
Damn, that's a good question, because I feel like if this was next week, we'd have a good answer to that.
Yeah.
Right now, there's been so little, but I feel like that 4:00 tomorrow timestamp, is going to, obviously in some way, shape, or form, is going to be very important.
Yeah.
As to some form of recognition of when this is going to happen, or what this actually is, because it's not even official that it's Uncle Howdy yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we all know.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I mean, it's not official, but it is. So
I think they said they introduced, it was an anagram, the name of the therapist missing, if you unjumble it, is Uncle Howdy.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So
yeah. So again, it's not not.
Don't you love that?
But
you don't
exactly.
You know what it is, but you don't know.
But
it could be the biggest swerve ever.
It actually be the biggest swerve ever, which is again so great for the company, so great for all of it.
Because let me tell you, one of the worst things for the longest time was how predictable wrestling was getting. It was. There's definitely formula still followed where I'm like, okay, I know what's happening. But
to a point, you need that.
Yes.
To a point, right? Because I feel like if you go too far away from it, then it's almost so random that you're never going to draw new people in.
Correct. Yes.
Right. And that's, it's a company. It's a business. When it's all said and done, it's a business. Their number one goal is to continue to gain as many fans as physically possible, to be the number one promotion on the face of the earth, but B, just continue to make money. So I feel like to a point, that's necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely needed to stick to some kind of formulas, especially the ones that are working, which is where I feel like they started to fall off over the last 20 years pretty consistently. Which is part of the big reason why I fell out of watching wrestling consistently was because of that. It was the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Week in, week out, every show.
Yeah.
It was at every pay-per-view. It got to the point where it was literally all right, I already know who's going to win, but I'm going to watch this anyways.
Yeah.
Just see if there's any cool moments.
Yeah.
Type of thing where it was there was no surprises. I don't know how over the last couple years, the last couple WrestleManias or Royal Rumbles especially, were straight duds.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just like, fuck, man, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Have something.
Have anything.
And so no, I feel like formulaic, having a formula isn't bad as long as it's working.
Yeah.
As long as it is a formula that is consistently working. Because like I said, then that allows people to have a sense of familiarity when they're watching for the first few times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like it's not just a constant like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? Because that will actually make people kind of like, detract from it. Like, oh, I don't know if this is actually for me. Or if it's something that you could kind of get a sense of like that familiarity with and a little bit of consistency. I think that's good. So I feel like that's a good thing that they're doing. But I 100% agree that it was doing that so much at almost every aspect of each show. Like, every section of the card was...
And at times just felt like fans were being treated dumb. Like, it was just off-the-wall stuff where you're like, this just happened last week and you're already scraping an idea, like, what's going on? But anywho, I think that's a good stopping point. And
to answer your question that you were trying to end on, I kind of hope it happens at one of the weekly shows and not a PLE.
I agree. It would be unexpected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It would be even more unexpected if it happened at NXT.
Oh my God, yeah.
That would be actually like the fucking way to go. Would be to just like them show up and just ravage NXT one night.
Because then you would have to go, what's going to happen on SmackDown? Or
exactly.
Is something going to happen on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Or you got to watch.
Or like what's going to like what's going to happen when they actually, because like they're not going to stay on NXT, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but for them to kind of invade NXT and have that be like the starting point of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
They're back.
Yeah.
And goddamn well that the Fireflies would be in full force.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that would be like a cool way to do it. And like you said, it would be like, oh shit, what the fuck's gonna happen now?
Yeah.
As opposed to having that answer immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a cool way to continue, especially with the way that they've long played this so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been since that documentary dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, which was in beginning of April.
I was going to say, before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So at least a month, if not almost 2 months now, of them playing this out and just little fucking snippets here and there, little things, little QR codes, or just little like the very first things that were happening. Wasn't it just like the screens were flickering or whatever the fuck it was? There wasn't even QR codes.
Yeah, it
was just like randomness. The people are like, "What? I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Whatever is going on, we don't know." Then, like they all played into it so well. The announcers have done a great job. Like the whole thing's been done so well. That's like I just don't want it to happen
too fast
at a PLE.
Oh yeah,
like too fast. Obviously, yeah. I think they've done a good job of that already. Though.
Yeah,
like I think they're at a point now where it's like you could be satisfied either way. Where like you could be satisfied if it happened at SmackDown on this Friday in 2 days.
Yeah.
Or if it happened at the next PLE.
Yeah.
Like you could be satisfied with it happening because time frame wise.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be a letdown to do it at a PLE because that would be expected.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the live shows would be just unexpected. But NXT, like we just said, would be the absolute most unexpected, like completely out of the fucking blue thing for them to attack the lower brand,
or
if you will.
I mean, just bring it full circle. Where did Bray start? NXT.
Yeah, dude.
Bring it full circle.
Yeah.
And screw with us. Keep going. Play it off like at the end of this next PLE that something's about to happen, and then just end the show.
Yeah.
How
continue the long play.
Just slow burn the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Do it. All right.
Damn.
Okay.
That was good.
Chills.
That was good. All right, on to the bangers part.
Blockbusters.
Oh shit, my bad. Yep.
Is that bourbon getting to you already?
It's maybe a little. Cheers. Yeah, Blockbusters part. You're right. Sorry, I've had Bourbon Bells and Bangers in my head now for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that might take me a second to switch over. But yes, Bourbon Bells and Blockbusters. That is what we solidified, and I love it.
I mean,
Elephant in the room.
Deadpool
Wolverine.
How many times have you watched the trailer?
Probably fucking. I don't know. I'm chafed. I'll tell you that. I'm fucking chafed.
Because Haley,
I have blisters. I should have used lotion, but I didn't. So
grab the damn tissues next time, okay?
No, dude. I have not been this fucking excited for a movie, let alone just a Marvel movie, but just a movie in general, but almost as long as I can remember. Like, I don't know that I was as excited for Endgame as I am for this.
All right.
That should be saying something.
I would have to say No Way Home was the last time I was this excited, but I just knew the possibilities, and I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, going back to Tobey Maguire.
Yes,
and so
yes, absolutely.
And so the excitement of that.
You gotta wear your shoes next time we do this.
Oh, yes.
Show the camera.
Yeah,
because your Spider-Man shoes, Haley did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I will just say that. She's a keeper. Those shoes are fucking sick. Anyways.
But yeah, no, to your point, I rewatched this trailer.
I've watched this trailer more than I've ever watched.
Embarrassingly, I mean, Haley's like, this again? And
like, how they queue it up on your smart TV at home, just like so you can get home from work every day and just play it.
I don't.
It's like your bedtime story.
It really is. A trailer, it doesn't give away anything but everything all at once.
And I think I think that's such a huge part of it is that it's like we feel like we know what's going to happen in the movie because of the trailer, but we have zero fucking clue.
Yeah.
Like, it's so wide open on so many different levels because of everything that has come before it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so excited for this, because there has been never anything like this.
Exactly.
Never anything like this where you have properties that were attached to a whole other fucking company now coming into this fucking established company that has, over the last year, I think, my personal opinion, unfairly been kind of dragged.
Yes, 100%.
I think it's a lack of perspective by the fan base as to the reason why there have been so many bombs by Marvel. I loved the Marvels. I loved Quantumania because I am watching it as a fan of what it is, of what the content is, of the characters themselves. That's how I'm watching it all. So,
and I think
I enjoy it all.
And I think part of it is we're used to just like, when we first started watching the MCU, it was just Iron Man. Oh crap, there's the Hulk with a cameo from it. Oh wow, is this building into a storyline, or is it just coincidence, individual stories? Now everyone's expectations is it's building to Endgame, and that took
12
years to build to. It wasn't just an overnight.
And I know, and that's.
But we've refreshed.
That is exactly right, and I 100% agree. That is my whole fucking argument behind. Everyone's like, well, now there's just too much. It's like, no, that they're trying to do the same thing with a different format.
Yeah,
which is exactly with the Bells portion of this. What we were just talking about is
keeping a formula
that does work, or has worked at least, but trying to keep it fresh. Yeah. And that is like, how are comic book fans, and that's where I think the issue lies, is all of the movies before, all of the last portion of the Infinity Saga,
was
drawing billions of dollars for probably close to the last 6 movies that came in it.
Yeah.
Like from Civil War almost on.
Yeah.
Right? All the way through to No Way Home.
Yeah.
All $1 billion movies. Close to, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if Civil War actually got there, but close. Because you were then at that point, you had built such just a fucking empire.
Yeah.
That you were drawing more than just your average comic book fans.
Yeah.
And now it's fucking sports. It's a bandwagon fan.
Oh,
that's what it is. It's the cinema equivalent of a bandwagon fan.
100%.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I had an epiphany while we're sitting here right now. That is what it is. I've never thought of it like that before, but that's what it is. It's the cinema equivalent of a bandwagon fan. And I've loved everything they've done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fucking like blind. I'm not ignorant to could they have done some things better or given certain characters better treatment? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah. I would actually that was the one movie that they've put out where I would actually agree they dropped the ball.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because there was such potential, but to do Gore the God Butcher that way,
yeah,
with the level of fucking actor that you have in Christian Bale, an amazing actor, like one of the best actors of this like current generation of actors.
100%.
He's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
they failed the character. Yeah, should have been way more powerful. Should have been way more scary. Should have just so many things. Yeah, they dropped the ball with that. But as a whole, the movie was still entertaining.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was sitting there just bored. Like, like
if you take out the whole Avengers part, you put it as a solo movie, it's pretty good. It has the laughter, it has action.
Yeah.
And it definitely, yes, you're right.
It had all of the qualities of what the original Guardians of the Galaxy brought.
Yeah. And it
really did. It had that like, oh shit, what's going to happen with the baddie? It had the laughter. It had the action. It had the chemistry between the characters. It had the kind of, had like the connection pieces to the rest of the whole universe as a whole.
Yeah.
But what it didn't have was the fact that it was the first fourth movie.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. And
the first fourth movie ever.
And again,
a superhero anything.
Yeah.
With the same character.
Yeah.
Like it's literally the first, like if you, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. That is the first time there has ever been a fourth movie.
Would you count Avengers? I know it's a part 1, part 2, but technically for film.
But, okay. Yes, but I don't. I'm talking standalone. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not because.
Yeah. Like, no, I get.
If I'm not talking like because Thor's in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
I'm talking about any other superhero character has never had a fourth with the same actor.
I would have to agree with you.
I don't think it has happened.
I don't. The
closest would be Batman, and it would
the Dark Knight trilogy
would have been Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Michael Keaton to
Superman. Christopher Reeves.
Did he have 4?
Superman 1 through 4.
Okay.
But
so
but yes, we get your point.
Yeah.
And again,
I'm not.
And again,
but before I say something, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. So,
but again,
I stand by what I said. I'll just put it that way.
Yes. But you're talking first in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, first in the Marvel universe, first in our lifetime, whatever. First one that actually was like drawing box office numbers for that like meant something. But yes, so it was the first of the current state of superhero cinema.
Yeah.
We can at least agree to say that.
Yeah.
And I just don't think the story did it. I don't think the story, the writing, I don't think the writing did it justice.
Yeah.
I think the writing could have been done better. Again, they could have made the character of Gore actually resemble the comic book character more so than it did. I thought his look was good for it being a live action. I thought like the way he looked was solid.
Yeah.
Considering what Gore the God Butcher looks like in the comics and like trying to make it like a live action movie. I appreciate the lessened use of CGI on that character. I actually do appreciate the more practical kind of a route that was taken with it. Some people would disagree with that. Some people would want the more comic book accurate depiction of it. Yeah, but it's tough.
Yeah,
like there's a line, or not. I guess not a line, but there is. It's a fine line, I guess is the better way to say it. It's a fine line to walk with the CGI.
Yeah,
because like some of it's great, and then some of it is Fantastic Four movies that we've had. All of them. Like the CGI in all three that we've had so far was not great. I've enjoyed all three of the movies. Don't get me wrong. Again, because I am a comic book fan, I just enjoy the stories behind these characters because they're characters that we fucking love,
and they're giving it to us on the big screen.
Yes, they're giving it to us on the big screen. So it's like I'm
what more can you ask for?
I'm gonna enjoy it. But yeah. So, anyways, getting back on track. Kind of went off on a tangent there.
But again, I think people want the end game right now.
Exactly.
They want the next big story, but again, you got to build to it.
Man, you got to
build to it. And I got to admit, I've fallen into it because let me tell you, these trailers to these movies sell a huge picture, and then you're like, it's just a standalone movie right now, slowly building to what's coming. But it's a multiverse saga, right? Yeah. It is a big universe
everything's connected.
Everything is connected.
And I agree, unless I misunderstood what you just said, with the trailers. I agree. I think part of the issue with some of the trailers for some of the movies that have come out, and again, I may have misunderstood what you just said, but talking about like the most recent MCU releases that have all been considered bombs, box office bombs. I guess I shouldn't air quote it because if you look at the numbers, that is what they would be designated as.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's unjust. I think it's unfair.
Me too.
And I think it is also, this is going to sound very contradicting because I also think it is fair to a point. I think part of the issue is on Disney and Marvel fucking trying to constantly make movies that have $400 million budgets.
Yeah.
Fucking get back to the basics. You don't need that.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to have that. So that partly is fair. It is partly just because it is like that's on them.
Yeah.
But also then when it comes to like the characters themselves and the actors themselves and the storylines, I do think it's unfair to that extent. Like I feel like they're giving us good shit when it comes to storylines and the characters for the most part.
I would agree.
But are all the movies living up to a fucking $350 million budget? No. Agreed. They're not. And they're not pulling in. When you make 425 off of 350, that's not a great fucking pull. You're not taking in very, very well there. So there's that.
But we digress.
But it's the constant need now of just like the expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of this is what we got from the OG MCU. But it's like if they just ran the same thing over and over and over again, then you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
So them branching out to all these new characters and killing off a couple of I hope they never bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
And I've been very happy. And I mean that with the utmost respect for Robert Downey Jr. As Iron Man. Arguably the greatest comic book character of all time. next to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah. I would say that.
He was amazing. He was amazing as that role. He was perfectly cast as that. He played it so well. He did it so like just true to the source material character. It was great. And that's the reason I don't want him to come back, is because the ending for him was so fucking perfectly poetic that anything they would do with that in the future would just tarnish it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more for that character in the real life world of what we're watching. We do not need anything else from Iron Man. We don't. We need Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We need Tom Holland.
Yeah.
We needed Black Panther, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the type of shit. We need Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that. I will go to my fucking grave saying that. And I've been very happy to hear that
it's back on.
Seemingly it's
still going.
Oh no, it's happening for sure. Like I've been so stoked because there's been a lot of shit that's been up in the air.
Yeah.
You know, like I was super bummed to hear that they're not renewing or probably planning to do anything else with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I fucking love
that show was really good.
The series was awesome.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I thought it was great. And like this is one where like me and Nathan would disagree because Nathan was like, she was like breaking the fourth wall. They like tried to make her into Deadpool because like she never did that. I was like, she literally did that in the comics.
Yeah.
That was like one of her kind of like shticks was like she would literally break the fourth wall in the comics. Like, so I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. But that's the thing is some of the characters that they have used.
And was it foreshadowing to Deadpool?
Potentially, right?
Yeah.
But like some of the characters that they have used that have ended up with like negative reviews and failures box office wise that have then led to them ending it with them. She-Hulk being one. Who knows what the fuck's going to go on with Moon Knight?
Yeah.
And that's the one where I'm like, I hope they fucking stick with that because that was one of the coolest shows.
Yeah.
One of the coolest concepts for a character.
If it gives you any hope, the physical release of it says season 1. It doesn't say series. So
okay.
There's hope.
Hope, yeah.
Hope that it continues.
That was one of my favorite things from Phase 4.
Yeah.
Was Moon Knight. I thought it was so fucking good. But again, these characters that they keep putting out are, and I think this goes back to the point of what I originally said was, you ended up with so many bandwagon fans that they don't know who the fuck these these characters are.
Yeah.
And so now you're trying to branch out for your source material, which is the thing you should do. That's the move you should make. You're trying to branch that out. And then now you're losing a lot of people because now they feel like they have homework to fucking be able to even know what's going on. And sorry. It's not like you're not a fucking science class. Like it's fucking movies and shows. Like yes, were they putting out maybe too much content for 2 years?
But you got to look at the time frame. It was COVID.
Yeah,
it was
COVID. Like,
what else was coming out?
Exactly. Like they were making up for the time lost.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah,
realistically, it was making up for the time lost, trying to kind of recoup some of that losses. But these characters now that you have, like, think about the original Avengers: Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk. All 4 well-known characters.
The known
characters. Like, those are the known Marvel characters next to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right? But Spider-Man at the time was not, and X-Men, Fantastic Four. But all of them were not Disney-owned properties, so that was that there was already that explanation as to why they weren't involved.
Yeah.
That was easy. You could tell a random person that's like, hey, do you know anything about Marvel? Well, yeah, I know these basic characters. Well, where are these ones? Oh, well, they're not Disney-owned, they're Fox-owned, so it's just movie rights, you can't do it. And that person would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? And then you could go watch those movies because those were like the main known characters.
Yeah.
Well, now you just went through 12 fucking years with those characters.
Yeah.
What the fuck else do you want with those characters? Yeah. They are like we have reached the extent. Thor is still going, and
Hulk is still going.
And I hope Thor does keep going.
Yeah.
And Hulk I don't know if I would say Hulk is still going.
Okay.
I don't know that Hulk is. I don't know that Mark Ruffalo is currently involved in anything going forward, other than like next to his cameos in She-Hulk.
Yeah,
that was the last thing he was in. I don't know if he's going to be in anything else. Or I guess was Love and Thunder after She-Hulk, because he was in Love and Thunder, wasn't
he? Yeah. No, I think She-Hulk was after.
Okay, so I thought She-Hulk was the last thing he was in. Wait, he wasn't in Love and Thunder. He was in.
No,
he was in the one before. He was in Ragnarok.
Yeah,
because that was where they like fought.
Yeah.
In the yeah. Anyway, Thor's really the only one from the original group, next to Nick Fury, and if they do anything else with Hawkeye,
yeah.
Which again, I hope they do, because that fucking show was awesome too.
Yeah,
the Hawkeye show was
I
fucking
loved
dope.
that show.
Like what I like personally, I'm kind of jumping off topic here. Well, I mean, it's still on topic, but it's kind of going in a different tangent now. So stick with me. I hope that they do follow through with the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
And I hope it's led by Hawkeye. Like not led, but I hope Hawkeye is kind of like the
main mentor,
the Colonel Fury.
Yeah.
Of the original Avengers for the Young Avengers. That would be fucking perfect.
That would be so perfect.
It would be great because Jeremy Renner would be perfect for that role.
Yes.
To be like the annoyed dad of all these fucking kids. Yeah. It would be so well done.
For sure.
And we got the glimpse of that, which is a nice thing. Like they could easily play off of it because we got the glimpse of that in Hawkeye with Haley Steinfeld's the fuck's her name?
Miss Marvel?
No, Haley Steinfeld in Hawkeye.
Oh,
the girl Hawkeye. What the fuck's her name?
Now I'm drawn.
Fuck. This is where we need a producer. This is where we need somebody in the other room looking shit up for us as we're talking. Come on, help us out, Nathan. Oh my god.
Here,
yeah, we're gonna. You're our producer for the moment. While I give us a touch more.
Kate Bishop.
I don't know if that's the thing is I don't know if she. I know the character has a fucking name. I don't know if
Lady Hawkeye, Hawkette, and Hawkeye.
Lady Hawkeye was probably what I was thinking of. I know that she actually has like a superhero name.
Yeah,
it's not just Kate Bishop. But anyways, I'm going back to the original fucking topic that we were talking about because we just got so far off.
But what's exciting, to your point, you touched on it, the original Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America. You know, those are no names. We're going into now a new phase of Marvel where X-Men are being introduced. Deadpool.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. We're getting to the next batch of people
they're resetting the fucking slate with Spider-Man, which I think is huge.
Yeah.
I think that is so huge because we got half a movie of Tom Holland Spider-Man where nobody knew who he was.
Yep.
Half a movie. Right?
Yeah.
Then where Ned fucking knew, Aunt May knew, like
everyone knew.
Like so many people fucking found out in that first movie.
MJ.
Who the fuck it was? Fucking Vulture. Yeah. Right? Like Michael Keaton fucking knew who he was by the end of that movie. Right? So I think it's such a cool refresh. And again, something we've never fucking had before where a character gets to literally reset within the same world as the same same actor portraying it.
Yeah.
We've never had that.
Yeah.
That's another brand new thing that is so refreshing and so exciting because now you get Spider-Man who is going into like the fucking source material comic book stuff now based on the end scenes of No Way Home, what it looked like when he's in like the fucking ragtag hole in the wall apartment by himself alone in the world.
Nobody knows who he is.
That is Spider-Man.
Yep.
And that's realistically, that's going to be the first time we've ever gotten that. Ever.
Yeah.
Across all of it.
Yep.
Really.
I agree. Yeah.
And like hopefully they put out Spider-Man 4 and nobody learns who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
That would be the best fucking thing. I think the best way to go about that movie would be to only have him with his mask off when he's in his apartment alone.
Yeah. I would love that.
You get those scenes where he gets home and you get to see the more emotional, he's fucking alone.
Yeah.
Right? Get to pull that actual acting ability out of Tom Holland that we all know he can fucking do because we've seen the other shit that he's done.
Yeah.
And be able to actually pull that out and pull an emotional side to all of it. Some of the scenes that we've gotten, some of the Batcave stuff.
Yeah.
With Batman over the years, with both Michael Keaton, fucking Val Kilmer. I'm not going to say George Clooney that much, but even Ben Affleck and obviously,
Pattinson,
currently I'm Sean Connery, and fucking Christian Bale. Right?
Yeah,
those are some of those moments that weren't things that we got to see all that much in the MCU before, where it was more of that intense emotional stuff, and I think that would be huge to be able to play off on, and then. I think they're somewhat to a point alluding to that type of storytelling just in the fucking Deadpool and Wolverine trailer with the emotional distress that Wolverine's going to be under.
Yeah.
Talking about all of the stuff about how he failed his world and I'm almost what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
That's what you were saying earlier where you feel so much. Yeah. And yet we have zero fucking clue what's going to happen in this movie.
Exactly.
We see shit where Wolverine and Deadpool are straight up fucking trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
And then we see parts where they're working together. And it's okay, it's a trailer. What fucking part of the movie are we in right now? It could be the beginning where they are teaming up and realizing hey, we have to work together. And then it could be later where they're something happens and they're fucking going at it. What happened? There's so
could
many.
It be another variation of Wolverine? We don't know.
That's so true. Yeah, it could be. That's not bad. That's really fucking. That I'd never even fucking thought about.
But
it totally could be.
But I think we're about to hit the next big wave of MCU because it's bringing in known commodities, and then it will also give it a chance to bring in these newer characters in the MCU, Shang-Chi and all these characters, and get a little more screen time to be known so that fans could be excited for them as well.
Yeah.
So
I loved that movie.
Me
Shang-Chi
too.
was, I thought, one of, honestly, I was surprised that it didn't get any form of, not necessarily, nominated, but at least, recognition Oscar-wise with how well the fucking movie was made.
Yeah.
It was amazing cinematically. The viewing experience of that movie was so fucking great.
It was well done.
Yeah, it was one of those where I was holy shit. And it's the first time ever that an Asian character has been the fucking staple point of a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Ever. That in and of itself I would have expected just not whether it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not nothing like that. But I'm just saying in the state of the world that we live in today,
that was huge.
That was huge. That was gigantic. And
the time of
Black Panther having won an Oscar and all of that, for essentially the same reason.
Yeah.
To a point, right? It was the first black comic book character that was big, kind of in the comics, Black Panther is obviously a big character, but when it comes to that kind of lay person, everyday fan,
lesser known,
the average fan that at the point when Black Panther was brought in, you were kind of at that point in the MCU. It was phase 3.
Yeah.
I think maybe late phase 2. I think it was phase 3.
Yeah, I think phase 3.
Because that movie came out right before. It was the February before maybe Endgame. Or it might have been the February before Infinity War.
Yeah.
But so phase 3.
Yeah.
It comes out. You're already talking fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
Of establishment. for the MCU. So you already were at the point where you have not just comic book fans.
Yeah.
You have everybody. So for a lot of the fans that were watching these movies, Black Panther was kind of an off character. Black Panther was the equivalent then as Shang-Chi should be now.
Yeah. But I think just because it was a new character, not because Black Panther got introduced in Civil War, Captain America movie where you get a glimpse of him and then you can build off of that.
That is true. I kind of forgot about that.
So
I wasn't thinking about that.
Now again, if we bring him back,
straight up a standalone film.
Yeah,
he wasn't in anything else.
So if we bring him in a known commodity in one of the next few movies, he probably would do better.
Fuck, they even did that. They fucking did that with Spider-Man in Civil War.
Yeah. Civil War introduced Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Yeah.
All I can say is that we're going into an exciting time.
Super fucking exciting.
Into the MCU.
So exciting.
We are building to the first Avengers movie since Endgame.
Yeah.
We are getting people that we didn't think would be in the MCU for the longest time. Fantastic Four, X-Men. We're getting them into the fold. And Deadpool. And keeping him true to character as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
Giancarlo Esposito has officially been cast in the MCU as an unknown role. This is one of the people that we discussed months, maybe fucking years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking 2019 when they announced the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At Comic-Con, I think, 2019 before COVID, when they officially announced that Fantastic Four was going to happen. When John Watts was still attached to it. Giancarlo Esposito was one of the people that we had originally, one of the multiple that we had thrown around as he'd be pretty fucking good as Dr. Doom.
Yes.
He's been cast as an undisclosed role, but now there's so many options. And I will say it has been said that it's not Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Because there was a certain fandom, and I would have been down for it too. But there was a certain fandom that were fan casting him as Charles Xavier. So I was like, that'd be fucking cool. And he even stated his want, his desire to play Charles Xavier. He, I believe, went on record and said that it's not Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
But it is another character. Who the fuck do we think it is? Because I'm thinking, there's so many options.
Can it be Kang?
Obviously. A lot of people have thought that they were recasting Kang.
It would be great.
It would be fantastic. Magneto is always an option.
I did not think of that.
Magneto is always an option.
He would be phenomenal in the role.
Fucking amazing. For anyone, for anybody that would have to follow Ian.
I want that. Let's just say I want that now. Now that you
would be
put that out,
phenomenal.
To your point, we talked about Dr. Doom, but now that you just said Magneto, I want Magneto. I want him, Magneto. Make it happen. Marvel, make it happen. Who else? Who else could he be? He's got to be on the villainy side. He is just villain written all over.
He does. 100% he does. But that's part of what was.
But Magneto is kind of a tweener.
He is. He 100% is. But that was also part of what I was like, fuck, I would be so down to see him play Charles Xavier. Because he is known as a bad guy.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, Breaking Bad. Fucking
almost anything he's in.
He's been a bad guy. Right? Very rarely has he played a good guy. So I thought it would be refreshing. Almost. To see him play a good character, but Charles Xavier also, Professor X has some very manipulative qualities to him.
Very true.
He does. So
very true.
It's he is that overall good guy that also will like bend the rules even for his own people to make the greater good happen, kind of like he'll be the bad guy to make the good.
Yeah,
in a way, which I think he could
and what
pull
kind
off
of
so fucking well.
What could have kind of good twist would that be?
Yeah,
kind of making Xavier a little more villainy.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, like if you watch like especially like fucking the original X-Men, well, just comics, but the X-Men cartoon and now X-Men 97, like there are so many things that are like intricacies of the character.
Yeah,
that are if you could expect Charles Xavier to fucking snap and go Magneto at any point. And I think that's the point of the character, is because Magneto and Charles were friends.
Yeah.
And Magneto did snap and go the other way.
Yeah.
And Charles Xavier didn't, because he has that morality. But that morality is tested.
And how fitting are we talking about him playing Magneto and Xavier, two great friends in the comics who,
yeah, right.
You know, he would be good for both.
God damn.
I think I'm leaning more towards Magneto, but I definitely agree. But can we just say he's going to be awesome?
It's going to be great, no matter what he ends up playing, who he ends up Kang, like a new variant or the variant of Kang. Like that's the way I think they have to go about that, is like setting it up to be like, yo, Jonathan Majors' version of Kang was a variant of Kang that was running rampant.
Yeah.
This is Kang.
Yep.
Like it's a perfect setup. And it's also, like, realistically, it's also super well set up for them to bring Jonathan Majors back in the future.
Yeah. I mean, they can do the multiverse is just, this is the like, perfect scenario for Marvel.
Domestic dispute, fucking assault shit or whatever the fuck it was.
Run his course.
Blow over.
Yeah.
And just like anyone else has in the fucking industry. I mean, fucking Kevin Spacey, for the love of God, is like making shit again.
Robert Downey Jr. was having issues leading up into, not anything like that, but still.
Yeah. So
this was his recovery.
Like, Jonathan Majors, like, he very well could end up fucking coming back for one of the Avengers movies or something in the future, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not banking on that. I'm just saying it could happen. Anything could happen in this fucking amazing fucking world of situations that we're sitting in right now.
We're in a good world.
We are, dude. And I'm so fucking excited for it. I don't know that, like I said, I have not been this excited for a singular movie in a long fucking time. And that's to then be followed by so many more things.
Yep.
Fantastic Four still a year and a half away.
Yep. They're slowing it down.
Yeah, dude.
They are ramping up.
And the Bob Iger, whatever the fuck his name is, the Disney like CEO or whatever he is, has come out, and I think he's gone on record now to say that they're only planning to release like 2 movies, 3 shows a year.
Yeah.
Type of thing, which I think is honestly perfect. And and especially if you're able to run them either as fully independent of each other, or have a concurrent story.
Yeah.
Like if you're running it all, so it's like this movie has some form of, even if it's a slight tie to this show, and then this show, the end of that, has some fucking tie to now this movie type of thing. You could kind of bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
That would be great. Or they're all just fucking independent of each other with a greater overarching story that they're all gearing toward, but it's not like directly, if that makes sense. I think like you got to do one or the other. It can't be like a constant kind of attempt at a flow of the two, because then that's where it gets messy.
Yeah.
And you start to miss shit. No, man, we're in a fucking great fucking place for it.
And with that, I think that's a good way to stop. And
I think we just finished the first episode of the Triple B podcast.
I think so.
Bourbon, belts, and blockbusters.
I'm super excited,
and
man.
What better fucking way to end than with a fucking toast to each other, a toast
to the
pilot, and a toast to everything that we were able to talk about today.
Yep.
Dude, I fucking love you.
Love you.
And I'm so excited for what we have going.
Me too.
And with that, we're logging off.